Hey, what's up, guys? Top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you guys are in the world. Salute! A little bonus impromptu Friday amplification for you guys. It's early in the morning, but hopefully I can get this out to you guys ASAP. Believe it or not, I've already been out in the world since 4 a.m. I'm on my third coffee already. The coffee bar is currently closed because I'm letting the professionals do it right now. This is an extra Dunkin'. So, much needed though, man. We got a long day ahead of us, but I had a little bit of time right now, so I said, you know what? Let's shoot the shit about some pro wrestling with my amp unit, man. So we'll go over a couple of stories. We haven't went over the Vince McMahon allegations situation in a little bit, at least a week, if not a little more. So I do want to touch base on the latest with Vince McMahon. Rita Chatterton is speaking out once again. If you don't know who that is, man, that's somebody who was... She started all of this really 36 years ago, trying to wave a red flag. No matter who you believe or not, the red flags were waved and they were absolutely ignored. And Rita Chatterton is back telling her story, man. We're going to talk about it. I'll tell you guys the exact story and why this matters. And just the whole Vince McMahon thing, man. We won't spend too much time on it. That's a drag. But it's a huge story of the pro wrestling world. This is the CEO of WWE, or he gave that to Stephanie for optics. But he's fucking biting at the chops to get back in that CEO role. Not so fast, man. If you think this thing is done, that's not what the Wall Street Journal reporters and the New York Times reporters, that's not what they're saying. They're saying this is not done. So we'll talk about that. And I want to start off by apologizing, not for anything BC spoke about, but for... I'm going to apologize for Andy Zarian. That's right. This is the dude that broke the news that WWE was going to a TV14 rating this Monday. Definitively. This is what he said. And he had everybody talking about this. And when I say everybody, man, because when you say something like that, right? When you say a story so definitively with no question marks, not saying words like possibility, or making it open-ended, like there's still a chance that this may fold. You're coming out and you're definitively saying something huge, drastic, like WWE is ditching TV PG and going to TV 14. And this Monday, no question marks, no possibility that there's even a debate, no chance that this is going to fall through. No, this Monday, this is what's happening. And I don't know how this dude even got into a spot where people believe his bullshit. I don't know. I've spoke to people that are in the know, and they don't know this dude. So either he's absolutely making up sources or he's just talking to like electricians in the building while WWE is setting up the ring. Maybe the fucking local arena personnel that are sweeping or getting the concessions ready. I don't know. That's not even shade. It's just every time this dude says something, it's alarmingly bad. It's just, it reeks of phony. It reeks of a fake story. Every time I read something over the top, phony sounding, it's always got Andy Zarian's name attached to it. Every month for a long time. I said this in yesterday's vid when I talked about going TV 14 because of this schmuck. I told you guys to take it with a grain of salt, and we still have to find out how true this is. Even though he was definitive in what he was saying, I told you guys don't be so sure because it is Andy Zarian, and he's never been right about anything. This is the first time he's been this definitive about something like this. this big. But I told you guys, I even gave you examples, which I'll give again. Every month he would come out with the same story. I just talked to WWE sources and they're high on a new AEW talent every month. One month it was Ethan Page. I just got off the phone with the WWE personnel. They're high on Ethan Page. Then the next month, I just got off the phone with the WWE sources. They're high on MJF. Next month, I just got off the phone with WWE sources. They're high on Jade Cargill. Not even thinking about what he's saying, right? Jade Cargill already had meetups with the WWE. They had the chance to seal the deal. What do you... Now all of a sudden, it doesn't make sense. They already have an Ethan Page. His name is Austin Theory. Some would say it's an upgrade from Page. Others would argue the fact, but they already have their own version of Ethan Page. But he knows that it's easily believable, right, to say that a company would be high on good talent. So he knows not a lot of people are going to question these bullshit stories. But BC always did, because it's just... Any one of us, you could just call yourself a journalist and say you got off the phone with a source, and AEW is high on Kofi Kingston. AEW is high on Theory. That's not a journalist or a reporter. You're not breaking anything. And then I remember one day he broke a story saying that he just got off the phone with network executives and they're very happy with the way the ratings are going. I forgot if it was WWE, probably AEW. And I'm like, the networks took the time to call a fucking no one schmuck in the community that nobody has heard of. I even heard, man, I didn't even bother to look into this, that he's actually attached to David Meltzer. Which, that would make complete sense. If he's in the fold with Meltzy, that would make sense, because they're all more tabloid than they are journalist. But this is the schmuck that broke the TV14 news, and I'm not even saying that there might not be some truth to it. But when you're so definitive, even with a date, and you're saying Monday... This dude came out, right? Everybody started to... BC had to make a vid about it because I made a vid hours before, and everybody started talking about that instead of what I was talking about, which was The Rock and John Cena, possibly both missing Mania next year. But everybody was talking about the rating switch from PG to 14. So BC had to make a vid on it to let everyone know, I know, and these are my thoughts. I didn't want to talk about a Zarian story because I knew there was such a big possibility, I'd say, that even as definitive as he sounded, something was going to go wrong because it's a Zarian story and he's never accurate. I just knew I probably should talk about it, but everybody had... Bro, Sports Illustrated covered it. WWE RAW could be rated TV for 14 for first time since 2008. Per report. That's Sports Illustrated. Bleacher Report. Raw moving to TV14. Sports Key. Everybody talking about this move, bro. New York Post talking about this. And then hours after this schmuck broke the news, hours after, he retracted the statement, took down all social posts about it, and said, got my facts wrong. It's a wild story. This is an exact quote. It's a wild story unfolding, but it's no longer going to be July 18th. My facts were wrong, and it's not even officially going to happen, but still being considered. These are the words that he used. It's not going to happen July 18th, which is this Monday. And on top of that, it's being considered now. Those are the considered. You said it was a definitive. You said it was definite. You even gave a date. And now, oh no, that was just internally being discussed in a memo. This motherfucker said he had 3 sources tell him the accuracy of the story. So you're telling me that 3 fucking sources steered you wrong? This is one of those things where you can't be a little bit right. If you're going to be that definitive, you better be 1,000,000% correct. I said in that video yesterday, I said, this has to either be true for Zarian or this is the last straw. I said his credibility will be ruined 1,000,000-fold. I said that in yesterday's vid. That's how skeptical I was of the story. And sure enough, I'm not saying it's not going to. I'm not saying that the USA Network doesn't want it to be. I'm not saying that hopefully soon it won't change. But you cannot be half right on something like this and yet sound so definitive. Tell everybody what is going to happen, not just what might happen or what you're hearing. This is an egotistical, narcissistical dude who thinks he's got more connections and more facts than he's actually got. And it finally bit him in the ass, retracting something like this. That better happen on July 18th, like you said, or you have no business being in the business, calling yourself a journalist, calling yourself somebody who's got sources and facts and a go-to for the inside scoop. No, man. And again, that's not even shade. That's somebody who's pissed off because time and time again, BC has to cover a story that I know is bullshit or all the facts are not in tow. So I'll apologize on behalf of Andy Zarian for being a schmuck. He said, this stuff happens, he says. This stuff happens. What are you saying, bro? Schefter doesn't go in the NFL and say that Aaron Rodgers is going to the Green Bay Packers. Definitely. This Monday, he's showing up. If he's being traded to the fucking Kansas City Chiefs. Right? Schefter's probably going to know that Rodgers was being traded to the Chiefs. Because he has real sources. Right? Aaron Judge is not going to, right, Buster Olney. Buster's not going to say that Aaron Judge is being traded to the Red Sox if in fact he's actually signing a new deal with the Yankees at the end of the season. No. Why would he say he's going to the Red Sox? He's signing a new fucking deal. Buster's going to be on that shit. He'll say, I'm receiving word that he's talking to the Red Sox. He's not going to say he's definitely going there, and then that night we find out he re-signed with my Yankees. You can't deliver definitive information, definitive stories, spew them as if they're facts, and then 2 hours later, when the whole world is now talking about it, go, oops, sorry, got the facts mixed up. People told me it was accurate, but it wasn't. These things happen. No harm, no foul. Got some name recognition, though. Got a lot of people knowing my name now. I can't fucking believe it. And again, I'm not saying that there's not any truth to this. I'm hoping they do go TV14. I'm not saying there's not rumblings. This dude, he took the fucking socials down so you can't even read it anymore. But he definitively said, PG era is over, period. Put a period right after it. And said, this Monday, July 18, Raw goes to TV14. And then 2 hours later takes it. Bro, you can't do that in journalism. You can't. Especially when you're known for being a bullshit journalist anyway. I can't stand that shit, bro. Anyway, that's a thing. Every time I see a story from this guy, it just screams bullshit. He's always talking about how he's got all these sources and all these connections. He's on the phone with networks. He's on the phone with WWE personnel, and I've yet to see any story correct. And then I find out he's possibly connected with Meltzer's group, which would make sense. That's tabloids, obviously. That's not journalism. That's tabloids, right? But I'm hoping we do go TV14. I still think there's something to it. I hope this is not a total bullshit story. But guys, the update is that this Monday, it's not happening. The dude was wrong. He absolutely botched. He botched it. He botched the report. And I wouldn't expect it from anybody else but Andy. Speaking of botches, I know people are asking, man, BC, did you hear about the Swerve in Our Glory botch? Now, I don't know the accuracy. I'm going to say this again. I did not watch Dynamite. And I didn't even go back to watch the match. And I respect Keith Lee. He won a title. You know, I wanted to go back and at least, see some of it, even though I know it's a schmaz match. It's a tag match. It's a spot fest. So those things usually piss me off. But I wanted to support Keith Lee. I didn't get to watching it. So I don't know the accuracy. What I am hearing from multiple people, and you guys can judge for you, so you can go back and watch it. I don't know. But if this is true, I'll discuss it right now briefly. But I am hearing that the wrong man got pinned Wednesday night. Again, this is why you need people like BC reviewing this, because nobody else will discuss it and talk about it in length. I pay attention to these details. I would discuss it and talk about every angle and avenue. But apparently the wrong man got pinned. If this is accuracy, I am not shocked at all. AEW never follows the rules, guys. They always botch these type of matches. The referees are clueless. They're the worst in the... AEW referees are the worst you're going to come across. Mike Chioda just talked about them. Mike Chioda, one of the best referees ever in the history of refereeing, literally just recently spoke about the one thing he doesn't like is they're too animated, and he likes to be kind of the unseen guy in the ring. Like, he shouldn't be the focal point. Who told you that from the beginning when AEW started? BC. I said something about these dudes starving for the attention is taking away from the match. When you see those little dudes, I don't even know their names, that they're bouncing around. Every time there's a big hit or something, they're like, the referees are fucking so overly dramatic. It is like, dude, you're a ref. Act like you've been there before. Act like you should be in the ring, and everything isn't like you're going to run underneath your bed screaming for your mother. Oh my God, blood! Like, like there's a difference between like, oh, he's like selling like how severe it is. And then there's like every time there's a punch, these guys are like, whoa. Bro, do you need to stock groceries at the local supermarket? Do you want to flip some burgers? Do you want to sell cars at the local car dealership? Is this not the business for you, bro? AEW referees are the worst. And Mike Chioda, I'm so glad he fucking brought that up. And I wouldn't be shocked that this is that the wrong man got pinned, because they don't give a fuck. They don't know what they're doing. AEW has never cared about the rules. It's a spot fest. It's an SFCF, spot fest clusterfuck, I call it. They've always been like that. That's not shade to the company. I've always said that. That's been one of my biggest critiques. Probably why they don't want to do business with BC anymore. Well, and that's the case. I don't blame them then, because I'm not letting up on that. And some people are probably going to say, this is going to be a storyline now, BC. Well, I hope you have to, because I've already heard from multiple people that this is the case. Again, until I see it myself, which I just don't think I'm going to go back and watch it. I just don't. But unless I did, I can't speak definitively like a fucking Zarian report. But if it's the case, I'm not shocked. If the wrong man got pinned. And if the wrong man got pinned, you have to now make it a storyline. And don't give me the bullshit that was going to be the storyline, please, because then you're openly showing that your referees are idiots. Like, their one main job is just to make sure that the legal guys are in there at all time, right? That's like your one main job. That's like being TSA security at the airport and letting the guy go by with the fucking 27 weapons. Come on in. You're the referee. You have to make sure that your main job is to make sure that the legal guys are in the ring. Always make sure that the non-legal ones are out, right? Like who's got the I'm over here breaking shit. Sorry, I got this, Sasha. My assistant's like, oh, what are you doing now, BC? More work. You better give me the raise. That's their main job, is just make sure that legal, you gotta, Come on, man. You know, that's sad. BC would have called that out immediately had I seen it. I bet you nobody else did or spent a lot of time on it. And then when they find out, oh, it's fine. It's no harm, no foul. Let's just be happy for Swerve in our glory. Everybody just stop with the negative. Let's swerve in our glory. If this was WWE and this happened, we'd be laughing our asses off and talking about what a sloppy shop shit show it is. But because it's AEW, we give it a pass. I say this all the fucking time. Man, oh man. That's why I say they need BC a lot more than I need them. Because you're not going to get that type of realism, man. I couldn't believe when I heard that. And if it's the case, I'm not shocked. If it's not and the legal man got pinned or whatever, then I still stand by what I say. They still don't follow the rules. They still don't care about them. It's still just a spot fest, and it's just anarchy. And with today's short attention span, that's what draws that niche. Everybody bounce around the ring like ping pong balls, man. Fuck it. That's all I got to say about it. So for those wondering, yes, I heard about it. I didn't see it myself, so I can't spend any more time on it. But I would not be shocked if the wrong man got pinned. And now you better use that as a storyline. You better. And even then, now you're just making your referee look like a fucking idiot. Like he doesn't know, he has no control. He doesn't know who the fuck the legal guy is. But it's art imitating real life and vice versa, right? It makes sense because that's actually what's going on. So, you know, the Uso in the Street Profit thing where Montez had his shoulder a little up. Okay, the referee had a bad fucking sight vision on it. Not knowing who the fucking legal guys are. Bro, that's when you have to fire somebody, right? I'm not saying doing that, right? Because I can't even just blame the referee. This is an AEW issue. This is a Tony Khan issue. But, I mean, in real life, if you botched your job that bad, I mean, you'd be on thin ice, bro. But everybody's a little bit to blame. If this is correct. I don't know if it is, man. But it's just, it made BC laugh for a couple of minutes when I heard that. I'm like, I would expect nothing else from this company. Vinnie Mac, man. VKM. The latest we're getting is that what we heard so far, the 4 ladies, the 12 million plus in hush money, extra added on, that's not even it. The Wall Street Journal, New York Times, they're saying that they're getting even more calls, more reports, and they just have to decipher the truth. See how this is done, Zarian? They're spending time and jumping further into the allegations and news stories before they announce anything. That's a thing of beauty. That's called journalism. So they're doing that. But this tells us, man, this is 2 reputable papers. First of all, not just publications, but the ones that broke the initial stories. And they're saying that it's not even done yet. I mean, how much more can you pile on VKM? How much more did he do? How many times did he cheat on his wife, bro? How many? Is it possible? 10 motherfuckers? And that's just the ones we know about, right? When it's all said and done, probably. But Rita Chatterton is coming back out into the spotlight. Now, for those of you that don't know Rita Chatterton, she was a WWE wrestler, actually, turned referee. She was the first actual referee, I believe. I'll look into that more, but I think she was the first ever WWE referee. If she wasn't, mad apologies to whoever the first one was, but I believe it was her, or one of the first. But McMahon had first of all, when she was a wrestler, a funny story. Well, it's not funny for her. Luckily, it didn't happen. But she tells a story that Pat Patterson told the females in her first match to break her legs. Break her into the business by breaking her legs. That was a thing they used to do to the dudes back in the day. They would break something, kind of initiate you into the shit. And luckily for her, the women didn't want to do that. They didn't think it was right. They didn't think it was the time. They didn't think that she deserved that treatment. So, but Pat Patterson told them to. Pat Patterson just did not like this female. Probably knew that Vince had a thing for her because Vince almost immediately got his fucking jollies on with this girl. And she tells a story how Vince McMahon put up $500,000 as a bonus in her contract. $500,000 with the full intent, obviously, to get in her pants. And I say bonus because she already had a contract, was called up by Vince and given another $500,000, $500,000 to be a referee? Nah, you know exactly what the deal is, man. And that's why Rita Chatterton was like, fuck, I can't turn down this money. This is $500,000. So she's like, yes, I'll referee. So they're at a dinner. This is the story that she tells, okay? So they're at a dinner. Her, Vince, suits and ties. And she brings up the new contract. Obviously, she's happy as fuck. She's thankful. Dude, $500,000. I can't believe this is happening. She probably thinks everybody knows about it because it's a huge added it's a bonus contract. You know, she probably thinks everybody talked about this because you're a company. Crazy concept. This was way before they were public, by the way. This is July 16th, 1986. So exactly 36 years from tomorrow. Okay, so 36 years ago from tomorrow. So it wasn't public, but you think that your suits and ties are talking about giving me $500,000, right? It's coming out of the company somehow. No, Vince hushed her up and said, don't talk about the contract here. Don't talk about business at the table. Moments later, he tells her he wants to talk about it down the street at a separate restaurant or a separate establishment. So Rita's like not thinking much of it. She gets her coat. They take off. They get out the door. They take a few steps. Vince turns to her and says, I'm feeling a little tired. Let's have this discussion in my limo. So they get into the back seat of the limousine. Front part of it's put up so nobody can see them. Tinted windows. They're far in the back. Door's probably fucking locked so nobody can get in. Awkward situation for your boss to put you in. But Rita's there, right? Doesn't take long for Vince to start putting on the moves, trying to get in her pants. Before you know it, he's having her perform oral sex. There's no other way to. How do I make it cleaner for the tube? You know, so she's going down on Vince and not getting the job done. According to Rita, Vince was getting pissed off. Stops her, says, if you can't satisfy me, you don't get the $500,000. So at that point, maybe she tries again. It's not working. At that point, he starts ripping her clothes off, ripping her jeans off, and saying, don't worry. These are quotes by Rita. Vince McMahon supposedly, and I quote, said, don't worry, it'll be over in 10 minutes. Oh, Vinnie Mac's got away with the ladies. So he's telling her, don't worry, this will be over in 10 minutes, and it probably was over in fucking 4. I'm being generous for Vinnie Mac. You know, you shouldn't laugh at this, because if this is indeed true and accurate, we really shouldn't be making a joke out of it, but something about Vince McMahon telling you in advance it's not going to be longer than 10 minutes is kind of funny. But it is no laughing matter if this occurred, because she's basically saying, she's saying that she was, the tube doesn't like the word, but she was the R word, and she went home kind of hysterical, took a shower, and trying to recollect like what just happened. And she thought about getting a lawyer or talk to one, but decided ultimately not to do anything, because the biggest thing was she, instead of going to the hospital right afterwards so they could like check her and right, that would validate your story, she instead went and took a shower at home, and that pretty much became a he says, she says, and that would have nullified her. She said that she has no chance against Vince McMahon. In fact, she said that Vince told her way in advance, like the $500,000 and your career all rides on what you do for me. And it was pretty much swept underneath the rug at that point. She was not long after released or severed ties for sure. Vince just wanted nothing to do with her and banished from the company. You never heard another thing about Rita Chatterton. Vince McMahon kind of did away with it. So I forgot if she actually, he most likely gave her the $500,000, probably just shut her up. It's called hush money. Probably got that. Maybe even an extra payout. I don't know. I mean, these aren't the type of stories I like to spend too much. I'm not going to fucking Zarian and start acting like I know more than I do. That's the words that she said. Maybe she got paid even more. I'm guessing she did. But she's for years tried to like tell the truth. Nobody wanted to hear it. So when she was asked recently, because the New York Times reached out to her, maybe the Post, one of our big New York papers, they reached out to her and she said, am I shocked at this? No, I'm shocked that it took this long, that it just didn't happen sooner. But now people are finding out the scumbag that I had to deal with. Those are basically verbatim what she said. And you know, one of the highlights that she spoke about, this is like an actual quote that she said Vince told her. She said that Vince said, okay, I had to do a little split cut there, man, because I didn't want to botch that, because it's actually a huge statement and something that if you just followed Vince McMahon you know that's something that, even though it's he said, she said, this is something totally Vince McMahon would say. And he says to Rita Chatterton, he says, when he offered the $500,000, keep it clean. Don't mess around with any of the wrestlers. And she says that after he did his business in that limousine, he looked at her and said, remember I told you to keep it clean and not to mess with the wrestlers? You just did. Because he always thought of himself as one of the boys anyway. So he says, remember when I told you not to mess around, screw around? You just did. So he puts her in the back of a limo. Even if you think that she's not totally innocent in this, right? She's in there with the boss. Maybe she's putting on some moves too. She thinks she could be in a good situation, right? Even if Vince is more in the wrong because he's the power. She's just an employee. Vince is the fucking boss. That's called abuse of power. So even if you think both can be held as wrong, Vince is way more wrong. He's abusing the power. He should not be in the back of a fucking limo with an employee, tinted windows, doors locked, fucking banging out his employee, bro. So, I mean, I see no reason why she would make that lineup, which is so Vince McMahon. Remember when I told you not to mess with the rest? And then after he fucks you, he says, oh, by the way, you failed. You just messed with the boys. It's like, bro, you put me in the back of your limo, man. You told me that $500,000 rides on me satisfying you, brah. The fuck? So again, I don't know. It is a he said, she said. I don't know if she's totally innocent on this. Maybe it was like kind of a flirting thing for a while leading up. Who knows? But I know that Vince should have never been in the back of that limo banging out his referee. You know, and then we found out about one of the new allegations is from a talent from 2005. Some of you guys are who was it? Who are you guys saying? Christy Hemme is a name that we're here. That's a possibility. Dawn Marie, or was it Candice Michelle? Is that her name? I don't know. There's a bunch of everybody started going back to 2005 and seeing what female was like kind of released or like parted ways because Vince McMahon did some inappropriate shit with a female wrestler around 2005. Hush money was paid, and they parted ways. BC still wants to know, who the fuck was that, man? So he's banging out referees. He's banging out his female wrestlers. He's banging out paralegals. We know that. That was the first story that broke. $3 million in hush money. Paralegals. I mean, there's nobody this dude will not fuck behind his wife's back. I understand, you know, dudes are gonna be dudes. They're gonna have side bitches. They're gonna have side flings. They're gonna have side pussy. They're gonna do that. I'm not saying it's right, but dudes are gonna be dudes, man. You know what I mean? It's up to you. It's up to the females to decide. Is a guy worth it? Is a guy trustworthy? That's up to you. You know, I can't say that I didn't do shit when I was younger as well. You know, females can say the same thing. It's not just a guy thing. But, yeah, we can be more dogs. We can be more dogs than chicks can be hoes at times, no question. And Vinnie Mac's one of those dudes. But, I mean, you can't help but feel bad for Linda McMahon when you hear so many of these stories. I mean, poor Linda. I doubt she was getting that much side dick, bro. Again, I can't help but laugh. It's not a laughing matter. These are lives on the line and real shit. But, I mean, you can't help but laugh at the absurdity that it even got this far for Vinnie Mac. And now it's just, when it rains, it pours. And Vinnie Mac is not, I mean, now we're hearing that, that's not even the end. The Journal and the Times are getting more people to speak out. They're just seeing like what's true and what's not. But man, it's just it's wild, man. It's wild. When you get a lot of power and you get really hot females and you have them you could get them in a fucking limo, or you have a huge office that you can lock the door. I mean, some of these power hungry dudes will not control themselves. And, you could say it's just dudes being dudes. I get it. I'm an alpha dude myself, man. I get it. You just can't cross certain lines. When you are a WWE owner, you can't be fucking your referees, your talent, your paralegals, your receptionist. You can't be fucking everybody. You gotta know eventually that shit's gonna fucking come back. Fucking give you a stunner times 10. Unreal. So that's Rita Chatterton. You're probably going to hear her name a lot more because she's starting to do interviews again. And she's starting to come out and say, like, what happened in the back of that limousine 36 years ago from tomorrow. BC Amplified, that's what I got for you today. Be on the lookout later this weekend for the SmackDown review and reaction. I hope to have that out to you guys sometime, possibly Saturday. So be on the lookout. Always stay subbed and notified, obviously, for impromptu content, which I'm always dishing out with no advance notice. And as always, if you made it this far, man, don't forget to smash that up for BC. Give it an amplified elbow, an amplified DDT, an amplified power bomb, an amplified super kick. Give the like button an amplified sharpshooter. But smash that up. It helps the algorithm. It helps out BC. So I do appreciate that. Till next time, guys. BC, and I'm out. Top guy, and I'm out. The rest of the community, they all twos. BC to 1. Think, be, live, amplified. Check you later.